memories that only Polaroid could capture. As he broke out his faded denim jacket with favorite band patches. He's talking to rock icons in the game, to the new blood, trying to make a name. So turn up the Youth Gone Mild podcast and let the good times blast. Youth Gone Mild podcast. Youth Gone Mild podcast.
I want to thank you for listening to the Youth Gone Mild podcast. I am your host, Gen X Joe, and I am at the Wherever I May Roam studio. After interviewing my next guest, and I have interviewed others who may be considered cover bands or in a cover band, I started to think, I don't know if I like the word or words cover band because it's thrown around so loosely anymore. I kind of like what this band is stating. They are a tribute band. So for my first guest for a double dose of denim, I am sitting down with Russell Schwartz. Now, during the interview, I didn't know what to call Russell or Brat or Russell. So I really don't know if I even called him by any name in the interview. But that's neither here nor there. What I got out of the interview was that, and we're going to call him Russell, that he is so committed to bringing the Poison vibe to Ohio, to Michigan, and all the surrounding areas. At one point, I was kind of like, is this really Brat Michaels? Okay, maybe a little bit over-exaggerating, but I personally feel that both he and Brat embody what it takes to be a rock star. And one of the things you are truly going to find out about Russell or Brat is that he is a patriot. And I respect that so entirely much. You know, I could go on, but you need to hear this episode. So take a moment, dig out your old concert t-shirt, get that denim jacket out with those faded band patches. Look, we don't have to explain ourselves. We're 80s kids, okay? And if you're not an 80s kid and you just love the music, wear what you want. I'm not going to judge. So I'm hoping your amp is up because my mic is on with Russell Schwartz or Brat Michaels of Ride the Wind. Here's my interview. Thank you for being a part of my podcast today. It's a pleasure having you here.
Oh, it's an absolute pleasure to be here, and thank you so much for having me. Been trying to get this done for a while now, and you went through a series of mishaps over there, but we made it happen today.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we got to get this in today because who knows what other mishaps are going to come my way.
Let's hope not. Let's hope the worst is behind you there, young man.
Let's just say that ice was not friendly. And when I say ice, I mean the actual ice that you slip on was not friendly to me this winter.
Yeah, I was hoping we weren't going to get into political conversations.
I caught myself when I said that, so... So I guess it's no secret that you are a huge fan of the band Poison.
Oh, absolutely. I have a huge selection of autographs. I've right here's my autographed Brat Michaels mic stand. One of my Brat Michaels guitars autographed. I got the Cat Dragged In album autographed by all the guys. Jeez, I don't know where it begins and where it ends. You know, I'm absolutely a huge fan. I love the way Brat carries himself on and off stage. He's a real gentleman in every word. Loves his fans as well as I do, and it's just a blessing to be doing what I do. And Poison seems to fit very well for me.
And speaking of not knowing where to begin, why don't we begin with the 40th anniversary of Look What the Cat Dragged In?
I absolutely remember the first time I heard Cry Tough, and I was hooked. You know, and I was in a classic rock, and I guess we'd call it. Now everything's classic rock to me, but
Right.
That's here nor there. I was hooked. So yeah, the 40th anniversary. I try not to get involved with the politics of that. Some people are on this camp, some people are on that camp. It's just like, you know what? They're grown millionaires. They'll work it out.
As long as the music's out there, whether it's with Ricky and the Rocket Mafia or Brett and his band, the music's still out there. And that's kind of what you guys are doing,
Absolutely.
keeping the spirit of Poison alive with your band Ride the Wind.
And that's why we like to capture both eras too. You know, we do the spandex era, so to speak. I wear leather pants, not spandex. Some days are better than others. And then I do a costume change while Caden does his guitar solo. And so that way we get both eras in there, you know, because when we've had this vision to Ride the Wind, me and Kyle, I want to do the poison I loved as a child, you know, as a young man. I want that era. And I said, well, he goes, why don't we do both? I'm like, well, yeah, why not? It's a pair of pants and a different shirt, you know, boom, done. I put on the hat.
What's Kyle like? I mean, he likes kind of like the
I don't think it matters to him very much. You know, he's just having a great time out there. You know, Kyle's the straw that makes everything, stirs the drink. You know, he puts all this stuff together. That's, you know, why we're having some FaceTime right now is thanks to Kyle. You know, he makes my job so easy. And I don't even call it a job. He makes my vacation so easy, I should say, because
uh,
it's been a blessing. We've had the same original members since we started. We've been together almost 4 years now. I've been doing this for a good portion of 40 years, and this has never happened like that. You know, you never keep the same band members. For a band to stay together for more than a year is a miracle, let alone have all the same guys working as a team. You know, we all live in different corners of the Michigan, and I'm in Toledo, Ohio. So it's always a pleasure when we do see one another when we're on the road. It's like brand new again, you know.
what inspired the name Ride the Wind? There's so many hit songs out there. What was it that pulled you guys towards Ride the Wind?
Actually, it was Kyle. I had other ideas, and I was like, you know what? I like that. I was in Fallen Angel, a separate Poison tribute, and they didn't have the same goals or visions that I did. And it just got to be we couldn't stand each other. Long story short, they were thin as a patriot, I guess is one nice way to put it. We always pray together before every show, and we always dedicate several songs, usually to our troops. We have Toddy Rock, actually veteran, Purple Heart, and Brian, are the fifth member, I guess you would say, of Ride the Wind, is also a vet. And it's something that we're passionate about, you know, our patriotism. You know, it's about people that are out there doing what they do, the brave men and women of our military. That wasn't being recognized with Fallen Angels. So I know I got a little off topic on you there,
No,
but
that's perfect, man. You know, I give you guys mad respect for doing that. You know, I would imagine just from hearing the passion in your voice, whether Poison did that or not, or Brett did that or not himself, you guys would be doing that anyway.
oh, absolutely. I've done that in every band I've been in. You know, my grandfather was you know, World War II veteran. So I come from a line. My dad was a paratrooper. So I come from a long line of military background, and it wasn't my calling. I mean, Lord had other plans for me.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, it's definitely something I'm passionate about, and it's just nice to be with like-minded, you know, gentlemen. I use that term loosely. Some days are better than others with us guys. You never know what you're getting out there.
And as you said, staying together for 4 years, that's a milestone in itself. You know, bands come and go, and you know, and here you are 4 years
Yes.
later, and I've seen the videos, not just on Facebook, but on your website. And you guys are so full of energy and you bring that Poison spirit to life. And the crowds, now these crowds are not just maybe 5 or 6 or 10 people planted in the front row. I mean, these are sold out auditoriums and stages that I've noticed.
Kind of like that little kid that was up to bat with bases loaded, you know, at 2 outs in the World Series. You know, I get to play in the World Series every weekend, I guess, the Rock and Roll World Series. There's nothing like it. I mean, that feeling, I can't even describe it.
You know, I can't even begin to imagine what you experience walking out on that stage every night and just the crowd going wild. But what is the crowd's biggest reaction song?
That's a good, great question. It's a toss up, I'd say. I mean, every rose, it's just that song stands on its own to this day. You know, it seems to be a crowd favorite, but as far as that energy, Talk Dirty to Me, far and away. My God. I have people that say, I've had a lady give me $100, we'd play it one more time. I'm like,
That's
so
awesome.
that's all about the fans, but yeah, Talk Dirty.
Now, speaking of Talk Dirty to Me, what is the wildest or most memorable moment you had?
Oh my goodness. You're gonna get me in divorce court over that, you know.
Well, we don't want to do that. So maybe
I'm just
not
kidding.
so much wildest, but
So,
memorable.
I don't know. It's just looking at them faces and just, you know, high fiving. And I remember one time we played and they had the barrier set up. It was a huge theater, and there was a lady in a wheelchair there, and she was just having the time of her life. And I change shirts usually from one Ride the Wind shirt to another, and I just gave her the one I didn't get to change into yet. And you know, I had just seen her there and so happy, and her arms were just waving, and that was probably one of the most memorable moments as far as that song is concerned. You know, and it's wonderful, you know, to meet people after the show and shake hands with them, take pictures. I don't know how to describe it, to feel like I'm doing something that's meant to be done. You know, obviously, I'm not Bret Michaels, I'm Brat, but just to be able to bring people that, you know, the feeling of if they met Bret themselves, which, you know, a handful of people have. Me, you can meet for free. Bret's going to charge you a little bit sometimes, I guess. But you know, I also like to go to the children's hospitals and reach out and do stuff like that. My wife works for a retirement community, so I like to entertain the old folks now and then. Well, I'm an old folk, so I don't, it's all about the fans. You know, long story short, without them, there's no Ride the Wind. There's no Bret Michaels for that matter. So to be able to bring that spirit, and like I said, and the nature of it is intended to be brought, it's just a blessing in my life. You know, the Lord has blessed me beyond my wildest dreams. You know, they say all the world's a stage. I've got front row seats to one hell of a great life. You know, I got a wonderful wife, amazing dog. I remember Bud Grant, Minnesota Viking legend, God rest his soul. He said the secret to success is having a great wife, a good quarterback, and a great dog. I got two or three. A Vikings fan, what do you expect?
Hey, I won't hold that against you, man.
Right on.
So tell me a little bit about your bandmates. Maybe like who is the biggest music nerd?
That's tough to say. I mean, because Kyle plays damn near every night. He's doing something with music. You know, he's not just a bass player. Well, he's way more than that. I mean, I love Kyle. He's a dear friend of mine. I love everybody in my band, actually. They're all dear friends to me, and I'm blessed to be in bands with them. But I would say probably Caden because he's the youngest. He's a very talented young man. He stays out of trouble. He's a really good young man. I don't want to call him a kid because he's not a kid. He's just a grown man in a young man's body. You know, he's
Mhm.
full of life, full of energy, and he's a hell of a good guy. You know, he doesn't indulge in any excess of anything other than music, and I appreciate that. You know, he's always focused. We're always there to lend a hand whenever anybody needs it. You know, obviously being together for 4 years, we've all encountered some tragedies that's happened in our lives, and we rally around each other. I mean, I'm getting a little misty now when I'm talking about this stuff, but even on stage, that magic, you know, some of the conversations that we have, and uh, the people that are looking up at us, they don't realize what we're talking about. Like some of the silliest things, try to reel this back in a little bit from being us misty eyed. Like how me and Kyle were rocking out. I got my head on next to his, and He's like, "You smell really nice." I like, "Oh, thank you." Smiling.
You gotta have that, man. You gotta have that in the band.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think it was Caden one time. This lady obviously had way too much to drink, and she peed her pants. And she's
Oh
just out
Lord.
there dancing like she's having the time of her life. I'm like, Caden, what? I said, look at that girl in the front row. He's like, she's drunk. I said, I know. She peed her pants. And gives me that look like, why did you show me that? While he's playing, mind you. I'm like, you can't make this stuff up. I mean, it's hilarious.
It's almost just like a regular Poison concert.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we want to bring. We want to bring that same atmosphere, the same vibe. Debauchery, if need be said.
We don't have
Um,
enough debauchery in music today.
I agree. There's supposed to be a little element of danger in music to begin with, and I feel it's gotten too cookie cuttered.
Yeah.
That's why we pretty much know what we're doing out there. We do know what we're doing, but it is reckless. We're just organized chaos, I guess, for lack of better terms. We know who's going up front and who's going to step back. Well, me and Kyle do our little bopping around together. Caden's out there flinging that guitar around. I mean, well, I remember one show he did one of these fantastic neck dives and swings it around like Cece. Caught me right in my sternum, like, oh,
Oh.
literally, I'm out of breath. I think it was that same show I accidentally elbowed him in the mouth. Accidentally. I mean, I would never hurt that man to save my life. I love him.
Well,
But
wait a minute.
it's like,
Wait a minute. We know Brett. He really likes to throw the punches with his bandmates. Are you sure it was accidental?
absolutely. Yeah, I was like, oh, did I catch you? Because the bigger the stage, it's better the atmosphere, for us up there. We get confined up there. It's like, okay, guys, let's try to keep our arms wailing down a little bit, keep us from running into each other, so to speak, because like I said, we're all in our own little world of chaos ourselves as we're just doing what we do. And over time, we've learned, like, this was way early Ride the Wind days when the sternum, guitar neck in the sternum, and the accidental elbow. I don't want to get any trouble started.
Let's go back to your high school days. Were you in a band back in that era?
I started taking guitar lessons when I was like 17. I still play guitar, obviously. I like playing guitar. It's more of a songwriting tool for me. And back in high school, I started growing out my hair a little bit. I was full Bon Jovi look, Bon Jovi was a game changer for me, if I had to be honest. No offense to the guys in Poison. But the next thing you know, I'm getting attention. I'm like, wait a minute, this awkward kid that could barely make the baseball team is finally, he's the popular guy now. Hey, I kind of like this. This suits me well. Popularity is pretty cool. Now I just park myself by the keg and meet and greet. I'll see everybody, but eventually everybody's going to need a beer, especially when you're in high school. It was a
Right.
different era back then, Parents
Oh,
let us do stuff like that. Hell, my dad kept a keg and the kegerator in the garage, and we'd camp out at my house at 10, 11 years old. And I'm gonna leave the garage unlocked in case it rains. Yeah, okay.
we were like free range chickens back in those days, and now everybody with kids nowadays just seems to be like in a coop. You know what I mean?
Yes. Well, yeah, they're stuck in their phones.
Oh, yeah. Don't get me started with that. Oh my gosh.
My grandson's 4 years old, and my son gives him a phone. I'm like, no, you're visiting grandpa. You're here to hang out with me. You're not here to hang out with your phone. We'll watch whatever you want to watch, but this is interaction time,
Yeah. I think for me, the only time I truly want my kids to be on their phones is if we're on a long drive. I don't want to be bothered. But
Yeah, I feel you on that.
But if we're at home, put the damn things down. Even if we're watching a movie, they're like checking literally to see how the ending's going to turn out. The
Yeah, my son does that. I'm like, why would you do that? Oh, nobody's watching the movie anyways. I go, you mean nobody's watching it because you're not?
right?
The movie I got him to actually pay attention to was Tombstone.
Classic.
So many one-liners in there, from I'm Your Huckleberry to, geez, the list goes on and on. Val Kilmer nailed it. I quit asking anybody what they want to watch anymore. I just find something that I watch, and it's usually sports. I'm a huge sports guy. The last time Bret played at Fulton County Fair, I parked right next to his trailer, and the guys in the band and me were hanging out tailgating at my car, and Bret's out there throwing the football around, and he's like, Russ, I'm like, all right, I'm out here playing catch with Brat Michaels. What a experience. He said, I waved to you earlier. I said, I'm sorry, Bret, I didn't see you. He goes, yeah, I imagine it's you're a pretty busy guy, being in a Poison tribute band and all. He knows what I do. I don't do the Bret or Brat when I go see Bret. I figure that's, this is his time, not mine.
Right.
I'm just there to be a friend and taking an experience. I got some great video footage from behind the scenes and stuff that's basically just for me. I've showed them to a handful of people. I don't go post it on Facebook. I remember the one time, because like I said, all access means I can be as close to the stage without going on the stage as I want to be. When my mother passed away several years ago, Bret totally surprised me. I had no idea he was going to do this, obviously. He seen me before the show, and he said he started to hear about my mom, and I was like, thank you, I appreciate that. And I've taken so many videos that I don't take them anymore, unless it's like me and the guys having a beer together or clowning around, me and the guys, the Brat Michaels band guys. And next thing I know, he's something to believe in. I love that song. I love it dearly. One of my favorite songs of all time. I still get so choked up every time we sing it. And next thing I know, he's saying, he wants to dedicate this song to the troops. And I'm like, next thing I know, he goes, I also want to dedicate this to my brother Russell over here. I'm like, what? For his mother. I was like, wow, tears were just streaming down my face. Great story talking about seeing Poison and Brat Michaels. Way back, there's an event center here in Toledo. I used to bartend for a company that would do like the Chrysler events and stuff like that. And I coached both my son's little leagues teams. The twins were on one team, and my youngest was on a separate team, a different league. So money was tight, when you got 3 kids and a wife and a mortgage and 2 car payments. And it gets complicated real fast. And Poison's in town. I'm pouting like a little kid. The ex-wife goes, well, go. We don't really have the money. I said, oh, I know how to get in. She goes, well, then why aren't you going? I said, all right, I'm going. So I snuck into the venue because like I said, I worked there. So I know how to get in. And you're supposed to have a stamp on your hand. So I walk past the lady. I just throw my hand up like I'm meant to be there. She doesn't pay no 2 craps of attention. So I go to take a leak real quick, use my last $5 to get a beer. And this lady's like, hey, what are you doing? I'm like, uh-oh, jig's up. She thought I was in I think it was LA Guns was opening up for them that night. And she thought I was in LA Guns. So she gives me a pass. And then the local radio station is having an event where at the end of the night you get to go on stage with Poison. So you had to have a pass for that. So I just put my hair down in front of where the passes are supposed to be. Next thing you know, I'm nose to nose singing Rock and Roll All Night with frickin' Bobby Dahl.
Oh
And
my God.
Bret's got me by my hand going, Toledo, you rock. Raising my arm up, the explosions, the are going off, every time. Toledo, you rock. This guy right here, he rocks. I cried in my car all the way home. I was like, I'll never see something this great again.
Oh my God. Oh my God. No wonder you are a huge Poison fan.
Oh, like I said, man, I've got so much Poison memorabilia. And like somebody said, that stuff, it goes for a lot of money. I said, I'll never know. I'll die with it. One day I might bring my kids some money if they need it for whatever reason. Hopefully they don't. Hopefully it makes it to the next generation of grandkids. But yeah, I'll never know. I got tons of sports memorabilia too, Minnesota Viking and Boston Bruins stuff. Um, I'll never know what it's worth. I don't care. It's worth the world to me. I mean, I even got Minnesota Viking carpet, for crying out loud, down in the basement in the Brat
Nice.
Cave, I like to call it. But yeah, Poison has just been one hell of a ride. This definitely fits my inner child to a T. You know, it's a blessing to be working with the guys I work with. It's a blessing to do what I do. You know, luckily I have a very understanding wife, and I call the stage my mistress. I said, well, I'm gonna go hang out with my mistress tonight, and she's like, well, call me when you're done, because she doesn't go out on the road. For one, her job, she's works 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and it just doesn't gel with her. And she knows what I look like. She's seen me live enough times. She is in her feelings too. You know, my job is to take pictures with young ladies or ladies, and you know, whomever wants to take a picture with me. And it's sad sometimes. It has caused. Why are you taking a picture with her? I go, because she asked. You know?
Right.
Where'd you think I was going to go? I mean, I'm glad that she thinks that a Brat Michaels is worth as much as she does, because at least somebody does besides the guys in the band.
Sounds like you got a good woman there.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I owe her everything who I am today. You know, it was funny. We met in like 1988. I was getting ready to go on tour. That's when I was playing my original stuff, and you know, we'd sprinkle in some 80s music. We were playing 6 nights a week. Never heard from her again. I was on the road, and you know, we didn't have cell phones and all that rigmarole back then. And it was one day out of clear blue sky, I get a message on Messenger from her. She was, hit me up. Do you remember me? I'm like, yeah, I remember you. No, you don't. Yes, I do. She said, you owe me a song. I said, which one? And she always wanted to do a duet, Ozzy and Lita. Yeah, my wife also plays music. She plays piano, guitar, sings like a bird. We were doing a tour. We were doing the 80s band thing together for a while, and it just wasn't her passion. Her passion's in Christian music, and she does it quite well. This is my niche. I love what I do. I'm happy to do it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Couldn't agree more.
The fans make everything happen, you know. We're out there and we feed off of their energy. They feed off of ours. It's like a buffet of chaos, and everybody eats well.
Love it.
And we do. We have so much fun, you know. I've had people have me where they've made posters and come and see us the next time. And it's like, here. I'm like, whoa, that's me. She goes, yeah. I'm like, wow, this is awesome. You know, I'm signing my own poster. I didn't make these.
It sounds like you have quite the loyal following.
Oh, man. Well, we're almost up to 9,000 followers at this point. We're just lucky that there's a market for us to provide what we do. You know, I couldn't think of not doing anything else other than what I'm doing today with Ride the Wind. You know, just a bunch of us guys with the same vision, the same dreams, you know. It's funny backstage. We're back there, you know, putting on eyeliner and hairsprays everywhere, you know.
Yeah. Well, you kind of just made me think of something. One of my favorite lyrics of any song, and it is a Poison song, is sometimes a rainbow is better than a pot of gold.
Pot of gold. Absolutely. I love that song. I got two destroyed knees to attest to that, because when we do you got to get up and go right back down again, I do the knee drop. Caden swings his guitar around my head. I did carry a mat with me for a while to help absorb some of that punishment on my knees, but they're destroyed. They're totally toast. I used to love when the wife would come to our shows. I'd give her that look because she knows that part's coming up. And we give each other that look like, is he going to do it or isn't he? I do it every time. I still do it. I know it's going to hurt. And the gravity's the easy part, but trying to get back up after you just crashed both your knees on stage and trying to make it still look cool is the hard part. Because if you don't look cool getting up, you ruined it. You destroyed your knees for nothing.
Oh, man.
Well,
Well, before we get going here today, what would you like to tell some fans who may have not seen Ride the Wind? And one thing before you answer that, I am wanting you guys to come to Pittsburgh so bad. And I know there's some reasons why we won't get into, but I would love for you guys to come.
we would love to be there. You set the date up for us, and we will absolutely be there. Bells on, hairspray, eyeliner, and it's not too far away from where Brat grew up. He's a huge Steelers fan. Coming to a Ride the Wind show is about as close as you're going to get to the Poison experience from the 80s. If you loved the Poison in the 80s, early 90s, that's what you're going to love about Ride the Wind, because we bring that spirit, all barrels loaded and guns a-blazing. And you're going to have a good time from the minute that first note hits until the end of the night, and even afterwards. We want to give you something to remember. We want to let you know you took your time out of your busy life. You used your money to come out and party with us. Well, by God, we're going to provide you one hell of a great time, and you deserve it from the first note to the last.
And speaking of notes, I'm going to put you on the spot right here, okay?
Yeah.
Sing me out of my podcast. Give me a Poison song.
Oh, my God, you're killing me. Jeez, I could have had the guitar for this one,
Oh, well, I put you on the
Okay.
spot.
You certainly did. You certainly did. Now all these lyrics are running through my head. Different songs. Which one should I do?
How about Your Mama Don't Dance?
Okay, then. So I pull into a drive-in and find a place to park. Hop into the back seat. It's always nice and dark. I'm just about to move, thinking, wow, Brett, this will be a breeze. A light in my eye, guy says, out of the car, long hair.
Nice. Awesome, man. So with that, I want to thank you for serenading me. I truly appreciate it.
Yeah, I know you're probably wanting every rose, but maybe another time.
Well, in my best cheesy comeback is, I won't forget you, babe.
I set you up for that one, didn't I?
You sure did.
One hand washes the other, brother.
There
Man,
you
thanks so
go.
much. Great time, man. Once we got this thing all figured out, cutting in and out, it might have been the distance thing. Well, we're gonna set a precedent. Anybody that's a guest on your show has to sing you a lullaby.
There it is. I like it. I like it. All right, buddy. Well,
There you
hey,
go. The bar's been set.
that's right. The bar has been set.
Hey, thank you for having me. It was definitely a blessing and a great time. Nothing but a great time, I tell you.
Absolutely, man. You have a great one.
You too, buddy. Keep your worries small and your hair big.
I love it.
Well, that's it. Fort Pitt. And if you know, you know. And I just want to give a huge shout out to my guest today, Russell Schwartz, or Brat Michaels. I'm still so confused, but that's okay. I appreciate him bringing his energy, his story, and for the time on the show, as he was guest number uno, where you get 2 podcast interviews for the price of 1. Okay, actually they're free, but it sounded good coming out of my mouth. All right, everyone, make sure you follow the Youth Gone Mild on all social media platforms. Just type in at Youth Gone Mild PC. And believe me, that PC does not stand for politically correct. It stands for podcast. And you can listen to the Youth Gone Mild podcast on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, YouTube, Pandora, TuneIn, and Deezer. I don't think I missed one there. And I'm giving another shout out to my sponsor of the Youth Gone Mild podcast, Lisa Gandia of Celebrity Events. You can check her out at celebrityeventsrocks.com. I'm Gen X Joe, and this has been the Youth Gone Mild podcast. Remember, everyone, rock loud, live proud. Peace out. Props, everyone, for listening.
Gone wild!